I think you're in the game because I am dying.
Yeah, that might be it. Yep. So it seems like that works. Oh. Oh no! What happened again? He revived as I was healing. I'm stuck again. I can't move. It's not fair.
I know how to win.
Oh, do ya now?
What are you doing? These heal grenades are really good, huh?
Yeah, it seems like it. Equip different gear to reduce damage from explosives. Hi, Val people. Oh, also, dear Val people, remember a few episodes ago, I said that one of the parts was missing? No, it turns out it did upload properly. It only took like a week.
Oh, that's like, I don't...
Yeah, because the Twitch export didn't work properly. So it was stuck on uploading for many, many days, so I just assumed that it didn't work, but I didn't delete it. I just kind of left it there to delete it later, and when I came back later, it was still there. So, that's good. Also, none of the episodes have been uploaded yet. Oh!
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 You know why, Hecko? You know why the audio is great between both sides? Because MisterTrashcan did it for both of us.
That is true. I don't think we've driven this one yet. We want to save this one? There's a vehicle save station right over here. Also,
right
Hecko, thank you so much for the compliment. Oh, you just ran over that person. And I shot him.
Is it up there and there?
Yeah, yeah. Wait, is this where we came from, right?
Yes. This is where Bicho is.
Did we walk that far? We didn't walk that far. Did we walk that far?
Oh yeah, it's right here. Look at that.
I guess we did walk that far. Yeah, look at that.
I unlocked a new horn.
Oh my god, me too. Kyonk kyonk. Oh, let me call my not cat.
You're not chorizo?
I have champagne, I have K9000, everybody else is locked, except Guapo.
Maybe I should have like Boom Boom or something.
Mm-hmm. To add insult to injury, I see. Oh, hold on. I'm precious cargo. You can go now.
The real passenger princess is here.
I'm the cargo now.
Stands it over only. Yeah, I plan on playing it, I think. Figaro gave it a special stamp thingy. It's on Game Pass, so yeah. I plan on playing it at some point. It's looked really good. I've heard the only downfall to that mixtape game is that there's not much gameplay, and it's kind of close to Edith Finch, which... who gives a crap?
Mixtape
a good story is a good story.
Is that the game by Don't Not? The people that made Life is Strange? Is that the one?
No. And it starts with an A, the one that you're thinking of, the other space game. I don't think Mixtape was made by Don't Nod.
No, I'm not thinking of a space game. I'm thinking of the 90s game.
But that is the 90s one. Aphelion's the Don't Nod. But I don't think...
I'm just gonna look it up. Mixtape Steve.
And also, hi, Jax.
When was I born? Sure. It always wants to know that about me.
Why does it care?
Is that the game that I'm talking about? I think this is the one that I saw. I've seen it before. I see you're shooting things. Maybe I should leave this.
Yeah. There's a load of bullshit happening in here.
I get it, because there's a bull.
Yes. Many bull.
Let's see.
Little maniac sabotaged one of Bembe's black market deals. He let the bulls loose at some kind of rodeo.
Man, that's a ball sack right there.
I won't let anything happen to him.
You leave that poor bull ball sack be. Them Rocky Mountain oysters.
Where are we in the story, by the way? What did we do last time? We killed the mother, right?
Yeah, the mama, and we're finishing up the Bimbay stuff, and then we get to go to the last area.
Mama Castillo.
Oh, Butterscotch, the best character in all of South Park. Oh, never mind, this car's not getting unstuck. Yeah.
What's your cat doing?
What's my cat doing?
Yeah.
Cat things.
I don't know if your cat does that. I'd be worried.
Look, she's doing her best.
I'll just leave that and see what happens.
She'll catch up. I like that this game at the beginning teaches you how to like holster your gun so that you don't get attention from people. I don't think we've ever attempted to do that.
How do that? Like this, right? Yeah.
Why put gun away when can just kill?
Yeah. I think I killed my dog. Why is my radio back on? Radio Libertad, the heartbeat of Yara.
If you're aiming for me, you missed.
Didn't mean to. Hi, Datster. There you go. Welcome back. Like a glove. See, now I'm playing games. My streaming horizon is as broad as the horizon.
That's quite broad.
How do you get in, Mr. Moth?
How do I get in? A little bit of lube.
Okay. I see. Oh, that's not it.
Too much force and it'll tear.
Thanks so much for the 220 stream streak, Jax. Holy cow. Better watch myself. It's this a sneaky area. Are we sneaking?
I didn't plan on it.
Okay.
Or oogie. Okay, that was almost a bad one. Carrot, not carrot. Dark.
We can't turn that off. Gotta get away from that. Ooh, uranium. I need that.
Can you come blow this up? You have the thing that blows things up.
I do have the thing that blows things up. Hold on. I just had to grab that uranium first. Uranium.
Well, I hope your nap went well.
Huh? Where even is thing?
Special forces.
Right next to me. So the way opposite direction of where you're going currently.
You know me, I'm blind. I have to be right next to it or I'll miss. How's everybody? Everybody is hopefully doing great. I'm doing okay.
Why only okay?
Oh, I almost shot the wrong thing.
You were out of banoffee and
banana noffee.
Jealous that you got to even have it at first. Because it sounds delicious.
I got it.
Yes, you did.
I'm glad
my most popular quote is, and yours is, wait till Hitler finds out about this.
God, I wish I remembered the context. It was Wolfenstein, that's the context.
It was, yeah, that's really the only.
10 to 15 minutes? Really? Oh yeah, I guess because you do use cookies as the base, so you don't have to make one, right? Like a proper biscuit base. Biscuit.
Yeah, but Mikas is the only one that pulls up any of my number-specific quotes. Sorry, dog.
Air support. Is that... Wait, did you kill my dog?
No, a dog, though.
Okay. My explosives don't explode.
That's not a good sign.
Oh wait, yeah, it does. It does explode. Oh shit.
You're fighting with 2 helicopters. I would like you to know that.
I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win, trust me.
Why can't I shoot through the windshield, but they can? Who's the other voice talking? It's MisterTrashcan.
It's MisterTrashcan. You know him. You've seen him before.
You're aware of him, I think.
You may or may not have seen him before.
Wash your head, Danny.
If you aim at the rotor, I don't know. One would assume that that would be the case, but I can't give you a clear answer. What?
The redeem. Oh yeah, that was sorry. That was Gorgle and the redeem.
Oh, was it the dolphin one?
Yeah, it was the dolphin. Oh, almost as good as his.
Why is this person glowing? Oh, because there's a bomb next to it.
Pregnant?
No,
Oh.
there's a bomb next to them. But yeah, Goraggle, just an insignificant sock person. Don't even mention him.
He's not even worth your time.
Yeah, not even half your attention. Worth half your attention.
It's like a piss stained sock. Oh, I forgot that that's still on.
Gaggle, yeah. It's yeah, like Graggle Simpson, you know, like that character.
I'm glad no one, not that he'd care, but no one here can report back to him.
You know what? I just realized something about the Far Cry weapon wheel.
Mm-hmm.
The font for the ammo that's in your chamber is different than the font for the ammo that you have in your pocket. Like if you go to the weapon wheel and you select a weapon, the font on the left is different from the font on the right. And it's not like it's bold, the bold version, it's just a different font.
I don't feel like mine is. Oh, you mean like in the, I see, never mind, I see what you're talking about, yes.
Just realized that because I'm empty on one of my guns, and one is like a square 0 and the other one is a circular 0.
There's no easy way to get up from here. Don't you want a Fanta? I have a Fanta in my refrigerator.
Refrigerator. When you come to Germany, you have to drink a German Fanta.
You mean the real Fanta?
Yes. The one that has orange in it.
It's watermelon.
Watermelon?
Because it's Japanese.
Okay.
Because I went, well, it's not a normal flavor most anywhere. I went to an Asian market to get some ramen for lunch because it's cheap.
I've never had ramen. I talked about that before.
You should give it a go. It's good. And it's cheap.
I've only had the little square ramen that you put in hot water and then you eat it. I've never had fancy proper.
That's what I had.
Oh.
I mean, I've had real ramen too, but that's what I had today.
When I say I've never had ramen, I mean I've never had proper ramen. It's like when I say I've never had a steak, right? I've never had a proper steak. I've also never had an improper steak, okay? And that's a bad example, but... What? The timing.
My Game Pass has been doing great.
I do need to look both ways before crossing the road. You're right. Oh, I got 10 experience points.
Yeah, does that give us anything else besides 10? Oh, it gives us a gunpowder. So that huge crate had 1 gunpowder in it.
1 bullet.
There's an engineer.
What just happened to this person? What's going on?
I got zapped. Did you zap me?
No.
How did I get zapped?
I just watched an NPC just lay on the floor and then stand back up.
Moth, I got hit by a car.
Dead.
Oh, I'm proper dead, okay.
I'm out of here.
I'm coming with... Many things are happening. Can't aim out of this. Why can I not aim out of this? I can only aim forwards? Why can't I aim backwards? Do I have to lean?
Hecko, I'm pretty sure ramen is just Korean ramen. And ramen is Japanese ramen. My God, the size of this
It's my
gun.
It's my gun in your face.
Yeah. Holy cow.
I also have this.
Wrong way. No, the other one's way bigger.
Wait, what does it look like? I'm checking out your stream. Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, you can see the... If I look left, that's all that's there.
Oh hey, we're here. Nice. Nobody heard that. We're still sneaking.
Not for long.
That guard did a horrible job. Both of them. None of them realized we were here. Great.
Shit. I remember when
They weren't
you remember how you asked if you were behind me in Bob's Burgers by like a whole season?
Yes.
You are.
Yeah, okay.
So the season that just came out there is a season behind here.
Yeah, see? God, that means I have to wait another year to catch up with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, ramen is a dish all on its own.
Well, I had a sandwich.
Your
Oh, no.
normal Saturday sandwich, I would assume.
Of course. I wonder...
And how was it?
Is it great, as always. Yeah, I wonder if other cultures have sandwiches too. Like, how often do cultures develop sandwiches?
Hold on, can you run that sandwich back? Run that statement back. Do other places have sandwiches?
I mean, like, because there are cultures that have lots of seafood, or like in Asian cultures, you have lots of ramen, that sort of stuff. And I just want to know how many cultures have developed sandwiches.
All. I think all.
Are you sure?
Fuck you.
I would assume so too.
Easy.
Like, I would also assume that everybody has sandwiches, but before I assume it, you know.
I mean, Japan, you can go to the gas station, get little cream sandwiches or a tuna sandwich. America has like, peanut butter jelly and, you know, almost every other sandwich. You have your weird open face sandwich.
Yep. But like, what about Russia? What about
What's a... No.
Like, what's a typical...
Subway bad. Do not...
What's like a typical Russian sandwich or a French... No, I guess that would be a baguette, but...
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's see. Russian sandwich.
Please have fun shooting guns at people in this game. Mika's always. Thank you so much for being here.
Theirs is just cold cuts on open bread.
You truly are a delight. Yeah, that's what we Germans do. We just get a slab of bread, a slab of bread and put stuff on it. Unless, of course, I make my Saturday sandwich, which is a baguette with things on it. And then the other half is also on that sandwich.
It's just something about the sentence of, do you think other cultures have sandwiches? I was like, what do you mean? What countries are next to Germany? Let's see how many I can remember. There's the Czech Republic.
Is.
There's Italy,
Is.
France.
Is.
Let's see. What's country is Amsterdam?
Yeah.
That one.
You got the Netherlands.
North is Sweden, or
Denmark.
right? Yeah, Denmark. Damn, wrong Baltic.
Also, I think they're the like buffer countries between Germany and Italy, right? There's Austria and Switzerland.
Thanks.
Call for horse. Ow. Oh, look, a coyote.
That poor coyote. You missed so many.
Those were warning shots.
They were all more.
Well, it's Liechtenstein. That's a place.
Spain.
Great Britain, United Kingdom. I mean, there's a bit of water in between it, but that's fine.
Well, I wouldn't say they're bordering.
It doesn't touch Germany. Close enough. It's in spitting distance of Germany.
Poland. It's a pretty important one.
Mm-hmm. I can hear radio chatter, but why?
Yeah, it's these guys right here.
Officer.
Officer. Nice.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
noches.
Coño.
All right, Donnie. No reason to be such a badass.
But Donnie's ass is bad.
Why are you saying it's because it's flat? My God, what did you bring that helicopter down, or did it just crash?
No, I did that.
Okay.
Oh my God, is that another Chakotay? Coyote? Sorry, Chakotay is a character from Voyager. Wow,
this is a wolf.
That was a
It's
great
the
brain
Alpha
fart.
Coyote.
That was a great brain fart. I like that one.
You've always got Star Trek on the mind. It's okay.
That was really funny.
Heard about this.
So funny that I'm turning red.
Bembe hides out in an old slave shack on a plantation.
I'll just let you fester in your embarrassment for making silly sentence. Why is it Sandwich? Because it was named after a person, the Earl of Sandwich.
Bicho, what the fuck?
Get out of here, Daddy!
Where's that guy?
Cabron's head off.
No, you're not.
Oh, I'm not!
Sorry, I got a really good George at that time.
Bicho, listen to me.
You thought coming here was going to fix it all. But it's not going according to plan, is it? What the fuck do you know, eh? I know you're no killer. Look at you shaking. You're a frightened little rat. A pest, a parasite.
Well, you know what happens to rats when they're frightened? They
You
chew.
can give nothing back.
Can I have this guy's jaw
Don't listen to
bones, please?
Right. Beat you.
Just like the whole thing.
Sucking bug.
Yeah, you want a really refined chin.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa,
Oh.
hang on. You are not Bicho.
Yo, Bicho, if you do that, you're just gonna hurt your
What's your real
chin.
fucking name?
You want to fix
Yeah,
it?
you gotta aim back a little bit there, Bicho.
You need to shut the fuck up right now.
My name's Paz.
Yeah. Okay. Your name is Paz. You're Paz. You're not Bicho. You're not a bug. You're Paz. And I need you here with us, man.
Does he not like his nickname?
I don't know. I don't know if Bicho means anything.
Maybe it means bug.
Yeah, just shoot Bembe right in the kneecap.
Piece of shit.
At least I don't lie to my friends. Not that it matters. But I tried to get Paulo out. I really did.
Something about his pants. Well, they look like they're always a wedgie.
Ah, what a nice picture. Look at that. In preparation, what's that,
Hey,
Hecko?
Paolo.
Danny, tell me Bicho's okay.
See, talked him out of doing something really stupid. He's a bit shook, but he's okay.
Oh, fuck.
He's shooketh.
Thank God. And Bembe?
Still alive, still a snake.
Shit. I was hoping you wouldn't
Why
say
didn't we
that.
just kill him?
There's always going to be a
No.
bandit, Paolo.
Sorry,
There aren't many
reasons.
people out there. When Bicho gets
Oh, okay.
Was that you?
back, maybe tell him
It wasn't
What?
that. Okay, that was not me.
he could use it right now.
That just got struck by lightning.
Did it?
Yeah.
Good, Danny. Danny.
Okay.
My patient.
Alive. Gracias. And I have another cool scar to show my
I
friends.
thought you shot it somehow.
No.
Scars in your head that worry me most. Look, it's not a good situation here. Talia has an infection and we're low on medication.
I'm sure Castillo has
Who
some
gave
to
me a
spare.
sub? That was Dat Star earlier. I came in and gifted subs, and you got one of them.
Life depends on it.
You covered the
Yeah, military
antibiotics.
checkpoints. I bind that. Uh-oh. I didn't go very far.
You were just doing laundry. I was doing laundry too today. As in, I put it in the washing machine and then I put it in the dryer. Slice of bread, spread butter, and covered with a thin layer of minced pork meat, and then for a couple of minutes in the oven. Call that a princess sandwich? No idea why. Yeah, I guess you would do that in Germany too. I don't know about the butter. I've never had that. I know people really love it. I guess the German version has onions on it.
What doesn't have onions on it?
Oh, the cooking step. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Some beautiful raw pork.
Yeah, for some reason that's a thing here. I mean,
Some meat.
I've never had it. Hey, Jax, can you type Met Eagle in chat just so that Hekpo can look it up?
Meat eagle. Ah. That kind of eagle?
Similar to Lucas, and Numets are kicking my ass, but once they build my system and I get used to them, it'll hopefully help. Freaky, I hope you get well. Diseases like that are annoying as shit. How long have you been taking the meds? Because I can imagine it's gonna take like weeks, months for it to fully integrate into your system, if that makes sense.
Not close enough to a road.
Medieval? No, not medieval. He just started last night. Then I can assume it would take a bit for it all to be accepted by your system. Oh, who the fuck is that? I saved someone.
They'll never let anyone know.
Yeah, Freaky, if you need to vent or want to talk in person, I'm not in person, in private. Oops, not in person, I'm probably very far away from you. You can always DM me about it. For not following German culture? Listen, I've never been interested in raw pork.
You got a new site, and that shit was free. Lucky. Everybody should.
Why do coyotes keep attacking me?
Is it because you're a little too wily,
Maybe.
or
Oh, there you
too
are.
ugly?
That's gotta be it. Hold on, I'm not on it.
Oh, I thought you were on. I saw your feet. Oh,
All right, attack. Attack pattern. Attack pattern Delta. It'll be worth eventually, definitely.
Try not to crash this immediately.
Oh, my chat's paused. Oops.
Oops, doodle.
Because of your picky gut, also allergic to tree nuts, and now fresh shellfish, fermented is fine. For some reason, I don't think I have any allergies. I'm at least blessed in that regard. I have many other construction sites, but no allergies. Yippee.
I only have tree allergy. No food allergies. I'm slowly developing lactose intolerant, but you know, that's just how getting old is.
Yeah.
It's one of those things people don't tell you is that you can just get lactose intolerant.
What does it mean? Schwa?
Twa.
This is ours, I think.
Yeah, but we have to see if they have antibiotic.
Oh. Oh yeah, the mission.
Found it.
I mean, I have had Leberwurst before.
Oh yeah, Matthias. I got the meds.
Muy bien.
Dry milkshakes for 2 weeks to revert.
Hurry.
That's interesting. Like, is it just the dry milk?
What? Oh,
Hi, Raven. Yeah, you can definitely get. Oh, I was doing.
Oh. Welcome into Raven. Or not before. You can also just drink the or add the enzymes to your milk, or just buy lactose-free milk.
Tsundere. I mean, you can become allergic to water if you decide to go ahead and get rabies.
If you decide to get rabies.
I mean, if you accidentally contract it, also become allergic to water.
Do you become aquaphobic, right? You don't really become allergic to water.
Right.
And then you
Tomato,
die.
tomato.
Tomato, potato. Oh, what happened here?
Someone dropped all their seeds.
Joseph? Go kiss some wild animals. No, Mika's told me not to do that anymore.
Mwah.
Man, for some reason the trucks are the loudest thing in this game. Everything is on low except the trucks.
They aren't that bad. I mean, it's louder than the other cars, I feel like.
Have some anthrax. Did you jump out?
Yes.
That was some action movie shit.
Lower your both of you. No!
Oh, I got cutscened. Okay.
Nobody told me this was a party. She's so quiet.
See, big reunion. We need to hit El Doctor.
El Doctor.
You need to stay here. We need to move.
I don't know what that means. I don't speak
We're
Spanish.
not abandoning them. No. Máximas Matanzas is libertad. That footage from Castillo Zoo showed the cost of his paradise. The concert inspired thousands to join us. Radio Libertad inspires more.
But you've become a distraction.
Maria's dead. Viviro is a new target. El Doctor is the key to fuck up Castillo's money machine. And he's in the Capitol.
He's not there.
My people have eyes on him.
We were face to face. El Doctor is addicted to his work. He's not going anywhere. Matias has intel.
Sergio Esteves, El Doctor's right-hand man, murdered hundreds with his medical trials.
That's how we get El Doctor.
Were you running to America? Found
I mean,
your
these cutscenes are so much better with Guy Danny.
I knew you were military.
Paulo. You're right. I'm not your leader.
Geeky that raccoon
But you
story.
got one foot out the door now.
I've only ever seen a
Others
raccoon
committing
once in real life. I was scared.
Revolution is chaos. But a leader creates their own order.
My grandma once fought a raccoon with her purse.
Go.
You're called Danny.
I think it's fascinating that raccoons are slowly domesticating themselves. They're making themselves look cuter.
Now that was a fucking...
Yeah, their mouths are changing because they don't struggle for food anymore, right?
Now the mama and papa are gone.
We need Sergio.
I'll find him. Then we pay El Doctor a visit.
Since people just feed wild animal.
Yeah, so the need to hold their prey in their mouth is no longer there. I get that's the explanation, I think. I'm gonna have to change sound effects volume. I feel it is way too loud every time something happens. Options.
Let me know if this is too loud.
I didn't hear because I died. Alright, let's try that again. System, options, audio. Sound effects. I want to lower that by this many points. I mean, it's still very low. Is that sound effects not bullet noises?
I mean, anything's possible, Geeky, with some time and some evolution. I'm not saying it'll be a quick change, but...
Oh, a car. All right.
Oh, I'll try and get this car back out of here, I guess.
Yeah, you can do it. You got yourself into it, you're gonna get yourself out of it. Causing more issues, and we're released back into the wild. Well, I would love to one day have a pet raccoon. You can have pet foxes.
You're probably not supposed to have a pet fox there.
Getting cuter features and all that. A raccoon as a pet. They are so smart, and they're the only small land mammal who understand the concept of revenge. Oh, imagine crossing a raccoon. And he's just sitting there like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna get you, fucker. You gave me cotton candy.
Ah, yes, the good old washing bear, as they're called in German.
Oh, I thought this would be a little bit more of a ramp.
Well, you thought
Turns
wrong.
out, I was wrong.
Ubisoft doesn't give us ramps. There's a project that's been running for a few decades, and it is successful so far. Oh, hell yeah! Alright, I'm walking from here.
Ah, God, it's just good.
That camera needs to go.
Yeah, kill the camera, that's all I can do.
Hey, it's Paulo. Just thought you should know what kind of monster Sergio is. Come mierdas carried out thousands of fucked up experiments on outcasts. Even kids, Danny. It's fucking sick. And
Even
all of it
kids?
just to make Bio Vida rich.
Coño.
Flying
I have
fish
to
in the
get
Congo
this
have
shit.
achieved powered flight.
Suerte.
They're flying fish?
Yeah.
Isn't one
I don't
medium
think they
good
can fly
enough?
for very long.
Can't they just stay in their water? I stay on land.
Yeah, but we also go in the water and the air.
We don't need to tell them that.
Who you been talking to, Sergio?
Sergio,
Me cago en su madre.
te quería
He's on the
hablar
run.
to you. Come to me and we will provide the protection you need. Castillo can't afford to lose you, and neither can I. We have so many more trials to complete.
Hijo de puta's been tipped off.
You watch Alvia's Sanctuary on YouTube and Twitch. Even domesticated foxes still don't make good pets because they still scent mark everything and can scratch. Yeah, so my dog keeps pissing on the couch. I mean, my fox. Oops.
Dog would do it too.
What about fox boys and girls? Is that different? Oh my god.
Well, yeah, one has a penis, the other one does not.
Shit.
Is that what you're asking?
Uh-huh, yeah, Oh my god, I see you've discovered the shotgun for yourself, huh? Yeah, I'll do
Yeah.
it for you so you don't have to do it.
Thanks. I was having a tough time.
Sorry for
I appreciate the
education.
assistance.
Don't hit the dogs. Hey, I had to do it. Otherwise...
It's them or us?
Yeah, it's them or us. Otherwise, Moth would have had to do it. Where'd you go? You did go that way.
I just don't like to kill pigs. Ow, what?
Not the pigs.
Now I'm being hit by coyote.
Ah, good. Revenge. What a lovely house, though. At the tippy top.
Oh, the one we were just at?
Yoo-hoo! Hey, Moth, look.
But not a pig, yes.
Look, Moth, look. Oh, it stopped. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it.
It ended the second you looked. You kill a dog,
I
but
mean,
not
you
a
did
pig.
tell me that my comedic timing isn't good, so that must be it.
Yeah, that's gotta be it. Okay, look now. Yippee!
Oh, the sliding.
I was kind of hoping you would do it too.
Oh.
But I forgot you're not as childish as I am.
No, I'm a papa.
Yeah, you're the adult in this relationship. What the fuck?
Let's go.
There's that Fruiyaran piece of shit.
Hello?
I've got you.
Well, I shot the car.
Got you, motherfucker.
Did it explode? Oh yeah, it did. Look at that.
Oh my god.
I did it.
That weapon's so good.
It's like the plunger in Fortnite. No, that's not what I did. I didn't shoot him like that. I blew him up.
Laceration, dislocated shoulder.
Matias. Let me guess. You're going to treat me
Broken nose.
Where the fuck is El Doctor?
The Vivero Processing Center, Building 13.
Oh.
What the fuck, Paulo?
You think El Doctor could run the outcast camps without people like this piece of shit? None of this whole fucking mess would be happening without doctors like him. Fuck him.
We should just make the rich people our pets.
Wouldn't that be great? But how do we pay for them?
They pay for themselves. That's the beauty of it.
Oh, yeah. So aren't they already our pets?
Yeah, just walk up to Justin Bieber and say, "You are my pet now. Come with me."
I have one Elon.
I'd like one Cyrus, please. Miley or Billy Ray?
Danny,
Let's go with the Billy Ray.
we're going to hit El Doctor where he lives.
About fucking time.
You and I are going to kill him, Danny.
We need a Hunger Games, but for a hole.
Yeah, but then you're publicizing what they do, and we could also just not do that
See you
and just
soon.
have them suffer.
Hunger Games, but nobody survives.
Great fan build, right?
We've never used that boat before. I didn't even know that was in the game. We gotta save this one.
I wonder if it does work on land, because it is a airboat.
Oh yeah. So would that be a boat or a car?
Camera, please. Not camera. Radio. Music.
Oh yeah. Ja, sehr gut.
Sehr gut. That you were the alert chat.
These are all boat points. It's only giving me the boat points. Well, I guess that works. Thanks for the luck, Jax. Cuddle on the boat together always.
No, I am not.
Oh.
Ow.
How did I hit a tree?
One tree
in the water.
One.
What's that tree in the water?
There's no other tree. It's a mangrove, you
I was looking behind me.
silly goose.
The trees have it out for me. The moth was in the front. No. Moth is the top, I'm the bottom.
Our bottom. Yeah, see?
Alright.
Oh.
Oh yeah, it
you
works.
did- okay.
Perked? Perfect. I had no idea that this was in the game. Like, at all.
Alright, let's take this to go kill El Doctor. I like that it has guns on the front.
Oh, it does?
Mm-hmm. Oh!
Ah! Look at that! I'm trying to get out of here. I'm doing my best. I got damaged fish meat.
I see that.
This is horrible.
Is this better or worse than the go-kart thing?
This is worse than the go-kart.
I imagine it doesn't steer well.
What gives you that idea?
Maybe that we keep slaloming from like the left to the right.
I'm using the trees to steer. Are you even trying? I am trying. Hey, do these explode? Probably, right? Put the weapon away. Okay.
I don't think you can put your weapon away, though.
No, yeah, no, they're permanently
Does
erected.
it steer better on the water or on the land?
It's bad at both. Maybe that's why I don't see many of these in real life.
Yourself. If I go like 2 hours south, I'll see these bad boys all over the place.
Hold on. Also, they have to be loud as hell.
Oh, yeah.
They don't just go...
I think most of the time you wear ear protection if you're in a fan boat.
I'll drive the golf cart. You handle the drinks. So, we're both caddies. Okay, gotcha.
No, Trash is really good at handling the club.
Mm-hmm. My strokes are always good. It's funny because it's called the stroke when you golf.
It is.
It's on clavicular. Enter the gator on stream. Should I? Should we? Are there gators in this? Of course. No, crocodiles. We've got crocodiles.
Yeah,
yes,
we
crocodiles. Cocodrilos. Okay, I'm trying my best. Can you push?
Here, I'm gonna just walk and see if you can get up there fast. I'm not gonna run or anything. It's like these weren't made to go up hills or something.
Okay, here we go. End of the road. I don't want to be in this anymore.
Oh, you wouldn't have been able to get up further anyway. Time to kill El Doctor.
Hey, I can't do it. I can't do it. Okay, I did it.
Did you do it?
Oh, I see. I'm slowly progressing. Isn't this the place that we accidentally cleared that one time?
Yes.
So it uncleared itself.
This time we can do it stealthily.
Gonyo. Ow. See, when the red dot is on their face and I pull the trigger, the bullet flies into their face. Unlike in Metro, where that doesn't happen.
Well, I mean, it probably doesn't always happen like that in real life.
This is not real life. So but what you're really saying is every time I miss in Metro, it is entirely not my fault.
Yes.
Good.
You're really good at video games. I wouldn't say it's your fault.
This isn't a very accessible hiking path.
Found the body. Spread out. We find it, we kill it.
There sadly aren't any wheelchair ramps on this hiking path, indeed.
Shit. Nope. Special forces.
Shit. Special forces. You think they've seen us?
Not yet.
Thanks for getting that camera. I could not do it for the life of me. Hey, listen, I'm not good at video games. It's just everybody telling me that because they don't want to hurt my feelings.
I would say that you are good at video games.
See?
Danny, they're expecting an attack from the ground. Try the rooftops for a way in.
An attack from the ground.
It's worth a shot.
We're already in.
We are the heart of Viviro. I mean, we have cleared this place now almost 3 times, so we already know what to do.
Yeah.
You should get me to the roof.
What's happening?
Apparently not.
Fastest way in is with a gun.
Swain is with...
Bunker. You'll need to find a clever way to get in those buildings.
We're already in it.
Where? Paolo? Covered, buddy.
We are being attacked by terrorists.
We are being attacked by terrorista.
Defend the path to paradise.
Oh, don't yell into my ear, boy.
His head is unfortunately not exposed. Go.
What is he doing? Is he trying to run for the alarm? Oh no, he's running up the stairs. He's running up that hill. Explode the megaphones. I wish I could. I wish that was possible.
Yeah.
Oh, we have to collect a key card, right?
I think we just have to go to the other side.
Oh,
right here.
Yeah, that makes sense. Parkour, parkour.
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 See, when we don't even try, we're so efficient.
Yeah. What do you mean? We never try.
That's right.
I can't interact with this. I'm not allowed to.
Hold on. Let me handle it.
Let the man do it, of course.
They have come to destroy everything we have built. Kill them all.
Kill them all.
Paolo, if you could see this.
What is it, Danny? What did you find?
Don't kill innocent civilians.
All these experiments.
We are being
I
attacked.
feel as if they are not in.
Defend the hero.
He's going to
Defend the
fucking
path to
die
paradise.
Why is that guy so loud? Where's that shit?
Where are we going? I thought we wanted to be in here since we had to interact with the thing.
Who's yelling? Who's shooting?
What did he do to you? El doctor. Perdóname.
Cool.
El doctor is a monster.
Yeah. They might be forced into the position. We don't care. We kill civilians, we kill enemies, we kill everyone. If you're in this game, you will get killed by us.
Yes. We are the menace.
It is nothing personal.
They have come to destroy everything we have built.
They hired us.
What happens if I'm not in it while you press it?
It's not opening.
We are being attacked by terrorists. Defend the hero. Defend the path to paradise.
Are you okay? Can you walk?
Shit, we can't kill this one. Chaotic neutral.
That's twice now you volunteered for my.
Let you kill him though. Oh no!
Fucker! I've seen what Viviro is really doing.
What happened? I didn't look.
He locked it.
Oh no, what owl?
Not one for the bait, are we? Did you know exposure to concentrated doses not possible?
I like that he's not the slightest bit concerned that we just vented.
Wow.
I do not remember doing this. I
Me
must
either.
not have gotten to this area when I played it. Among Us. Yeah, Among Us. Among Us 6-7.
Amogus.
I gotta say the Viviro is less annoying than the Bliss in Far Cry 5.
Yeah.
Oh, I vomited.
Me too. On my nice shoes.
On my future boots.
Get out of my way, random doctor. Oh, I got him. I got the right one. I threw up on him. He should have maybe been more alarmed because we did have gun.
Yes.
Yes, Danny. You fucking did it.
What are we going to do about those people?
Oh, did we do that?
No, the other guerrillas.
Oh. Yeah, no, I'm paying attention.
Juan? How the fuck?
Fuck that one person in particular.
Yeah, supposed to split up and hit them individually, but you already killed them.
And Juan, thanks.
God, it feels amazing to not have ads like a poor person. Like a poor princess. I stay with $4 on my bank account. Hey, money? We don't have it.
Nope. We appreciate money.
We have family. I have Mr. Moth. Mr. Moth has me and his wife. And his bees.
That about covers what I've got.
I got my sandwich.
You've got, that about covers it.
Yeah.
I do. I have bees.
Keep them away from the helipad. Ease our ticket out of here.
We have to wait for him to get here.
They couldn't have just waited around the corner.
Fire!
Here comes the fucking cavalry.
Here comes the fucking cavalry.
Oh, wait, I'll just kind of let you handle it.
Yeah.
Like the flow hives, like an actual beekeeper. The flow hives, they aren't very good.
Enemies in the air.
But I have actual apiary, yes. Flow hives typically have failure after a year. Sorry, what?
All the NPCs have the cool guns. Like, this one just chucked all the grenades at the helicopter with this thing, I think.
Yeah, we just have the boring paid guns.
You boobs, the fucking cavalry, the auto captions, thought you said. I should speak more clearly so that the Google captions work properly.
I need to re-enable my...
Oh, you turned them off?
When I had to reinstall a whole bunch of stuff, I never reinstalled the add-on.
Oh. It's a great add-on. It's install it, forget about it kind of thing.
Yeah. I fell.
Oh. We both fell at the same time.
I'm injured!
Can you not use your thing?
No, I already used it.
Okay.
Gracias.
You're good to go.
You're good to go!
Thanks, Donnie.
No problem, Donnie.
Oh my god, how Paolo, could you get here, buddy?
We missed the FND stash, but that doesn't matter because we don't care. Oh, get cutscened.
El Doctor!
Dead! Real fucking tragedy.
The goddess of victory picked us today. Enjoy it, guerrillas. Because tomorrow you'll be...
I mean, if you
fucking
can master the
somewhere.
flow hive without it breaking, that'd be great. Because it is more convenient.
For 3D modeling and
They have so many
sculpting.
points of failure.
Oh, that's awesome, Geeky. Hey, if you need any 3D advice, I'm your man.
If you need anything sculpted in Blender, we know a guy.
Yeah, his name is Alaventian.
Does he ever stop talking?
No.
No, that's only if you want like a VTuber model.
I thought I lost you.
No, fuck no. El Doctor.
Dead. And Castillo is next.
You sound different.
First time you're hearing my voice, mija.
That mean you'll march with me to Esperanza?
What?
I'll fight for you. I'll put a fucking bullet through Castillo's skull for you. But don't think I'm going to let you off the hook.
Because he sounds different now? How does he sound different?
When your revolution is over.
I think it's because he sounds more confident.
Okay.
Let's put it on the record. Bicho.
Sí, Capitan. Queen Clara. I mean, Jefa. Call me back.
Geeky, how good of donut can you make? And have you put it in the Reddit?
From our newest comandante.
Let's do this shit.
You gonna tell the people Libertad was my idea?
Shit, never gonna let that go.
Running finicky.
Why does Clara only show up
This
when
fucking music.
like she doesn't give us any credit for anything?
Exactly.
Yeah, she's like,
La revolución
when you make a movie, you've got like hundreds of people working on the movie, but the director gets all the credit even though they didn't do anything.
mi hermanos, que aquí venimos para luchar.
I think that's kind of the scenario here. Oh, look, I'm on the picture. Are you also on the picture?
I'm on the picture, right next to Paolo and whatever
Us.
Bicho's real name was.
Torre de Leon. Oh, yeah, Kiki. Oh, let's watch this first.
These terrorista monsters that plague us, they have no vision for Yara. They simply want chaos. They
But he's sick, right?
Diego,
See, Papa?
they simply want chaos. It's off.
You used that line already.
You opened it?
Sí, señor presidente.
Bien, pollo loco. Pollos de manos.
It rings every hour, señor presidente.
Hola, fascista.
Clara!
I recognize that voice.
Did you like my present?
You kill him. What a surprise, terrorista.
And the intel recovered allowed us to hijack 10 shipments of your precious Viviro.
Let me ask you a question, Miss Garcia. When I am dead and Yara is burning, what exactly is your plan? Hold hands, sing songs around the fire?
That sounds good. Let's do that.
Have some s'mores.
You fascista?
You call me Senor Presidente!
You call me Senor Batista.
Start the camera. I'm ready to speak to my people.
Papa.
What?
Ugh.
Just stop.
Blood.
Señor Presidente.
It is with great sadness I must announce the death of a true hero of paradise, Dr. Edgar Reyes. Not only the genius mind behind Viviro, but also a personal friend.
Imagine he faints because of the blood loss. What would that look like on the news?
Be great. I think the terrorista would make a field day of it.
Oh yeah, Geeky. Blender does have tablet support, but of course it's going to be a bit more difficult since it is made with keyboard shortcuts in mind. God, this is so great to look at without music in the background.
Just everybody dancing.
Especially this guy. He's just having fun.
Castillo's going to be pissed about his
You know who else is having fun?
We got in
Me.
his head.
I'm also having fun.
Playing games with Mr.
I'm having a huge sea mammal load of fun. A whale of a time. Yeah.
Whale.
A whale of a time.
Now we have to go to the third area.
Oh!
Where is the quest? Right.
Oh my god, it's the 6-7 camp.
6-7.
Why? Why is that everywhere now? Even in retrospect, 6-7 is everywhere. How's that possible?
I mean, you only have so many numbers. 7, 8, 9.
True. Yeah, now you drive and tell me how nice it is.
Hey. Hey, we'll get through here. Don't worry. Come on. There you go. Almost.
You can do it.
Come on. Almost. Almost. There we go. Step one.
You're welcome, says the dad.
I'll just go this way. Be smarter. Let me get to a road or something.
Just go wherever the wind blows you, literally. Literally.
Honk. If I can make it out to this open water, we'll be good.
Yes, just like in Finding Nemo. Oh, we bounce right up. We don't even fall in. Hi, Mayor Cheeks. Welcome in. How are ya?
How are your cheek?
How's the mayoring? Oops.
I need ammo.
I need ammo.
Come on, this way.
Oh my god. Just busy lately, can't complain. I too am very busy. Mayo R Cheeks. That's it. That's the name.
Mayo Archie.
How's the Far Crying? Oh, with Mr. Moth, everything's awesome. Everything is awesome.
Everything is cool
awesome.
when you are part of a team.
Everything is awesome. Everything is awesome.
Take a look at this photograph.
Look at this graph.
And this large open water, this thing drives great. When you're going in a straight line.
Just like every American car ever made.
Yeah. But as soon as it involves turning...
Hostages.
Oh, I killed the wrong one. Sorry. I wanted to help. Oh my god. Move.
Uh-oh.
Move. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Ow.
We helped you. We killed the hostage. Stop shooting us.
The second time? Well, Freaky, I hope it goes through. I hope you get that, because you definitely deserve it then. I'll get to you in a second.
Oh no, fine.
Oh, you're fine? Good.
Up.
Yeah. My eyes. This is going well. Yeah, it is. It's going really well.
All right, where'd my car go?
It turned into a horse. No, it's not that. It's like over here somewhere, I'm sure. Yeah, I found it. I'm blowing some more air in it. There you go.
Put flames on it, make it go faster.
Mm-hmm. Or waves. Waves that are on fire. I have to wear long sleeves and use a wide-brimmed hat or umbrella to avoid the sun like a vampire. So, you're saying that you just look like a person... Oh! Who's afraid of the sun?
Did you fall off?
Yes, I did. Did you fall off?
Nope.
Well, yeah.
Were you not in your seat?
I was in my seat, funny enough. You just drive. I'll teleport to you. It's... There you go. Here I am.
Welcome back. Oh, we can count this right
I used to be
here,
called a
right?
vampire in high school because of my Irish skin burning instantly.
Oh, wait. We don't...
Freaky, geeky vampire. Well, having to wear a mask when everybody else doesn't wear a mask is shit. It's just annoying when you go to like a supermarket and there are people who are obviously sick and they don't wear the mask, even though they are supposed to be the people to wear a mask to shield others. I remember during COVID that was always fun. Until masks were mandatory, of course.
Six, 7.
Inconsiderate dumb people. Yeah, exactly. You got me.
I think
you
most people hate them. Oh.
Yeah.
Looks like those guerrillas need help.
Do the guerrillas need help? Why is
they're on their own.
Oh, the guns are smoking.
All right, I can't with this vehicle anymore. I'm gonna run.
Clara, I'm at a
I
lost
take
port.
psychic
Know
damage.
anything about it?
The one near Segunda, no? Castillo uses it to stop black market.
Who started that trend?
One of ours got caught in their web. See if you can trace
Some random kid in a school.
Great.
Clara, I'm near Aleste.
Fast forward 10 years. So, you're John Smith, I see. Oh, you're the kid that started the 6-7 trend? Get the fuck out of here.
6-7.
She said 6-7 revolution. She did not just say 6-7 revolution.
Yeah, that's the name of the people that are here.
Yeah, but I
We're gonna be hearing
expected,
it a lot.
I expected it to be like the 67 revolution, because the year, not the 6-7 revolution.
El Tigre?
We're just hot and trending. We should really just put that in our title.
We should. Honestly, we should. Oh my god, Mr. Moth, I took a picture of a cock today. Want to see it?
I do. I would love to see the picture of your...
And don't worry, I'll make sure you don't end up one
So when I saw it, I had to take a picture. And I got real close too.
Head of Castillo's navy, a real sea monster. She likes to hang traitors like fish for all of El Este to see.
Pal carajo. Well, I'm in El Este now.
I love it. All of it.
You,
Let me know when you send it. Cause
Yeah, I sent it.
The rum and coke was
I have to pull it up on my phone. I can't really tab out of this game.
minus the coke.
been there.
I'm sending you some photos.
Oh, nice chicken.
Is that a crab?
I bet it'd be really good at a cockfight.
You haven't done one yet.
And bring grappling gear.
It's been a while.
Now get moving up our mountain. We can't
Yeah, not getting into politics, but I know what you mean. Yeah, I do have a very nice venting room on my Discord, so if you ever want to type something out.
Ow, ow, ow.
It is severely underused. The people on my Discord just do not seem to have any problems that they need to vent about. Or maybe it is rather
That's because they know you.
Yeah, I vent for them. God, I wish there were better melee kills in this game. Oh my god, you got fucking wrecked. Over here! He killed the horse.
I don't have my thing.
He killed the horsey.
I need your help now.
Help! I'm injured.
Thank you.
I'm injured.
My gun is missing.
Your gun is missing, not you.
Mm-hmm. Onward.
And upward.
Yet another movie I haven't seen. Hey. Nice cock. Oh. I got a picture of a phone. A picture of on my phone, even. Why am I on fire? How did that happen?
I ran into some barrels, I think.
Okay.
We guerrillas are like the crabs.
Hard shells? Sharp claws?
They fight from the jungle to give birth in the ocean. We fought from the ocean and gave birth to la revolution.
Revolution.
I got it.
Take the footpath up the mountain. Very easy. A guerrilla must be short-footed, like a goat.
Goat?
Like,
I thought we were like a crab. Hello? Pinga.
Yeah, more of an otter myself. It's where I am. I heard a goat.
From the waterfall was so beautiful.
Sorry, they bleat. They don't bah.
67 gave me
Bleat.
Pinga, you fucking blind?
Bleat.
Goat.
To be fair, a rooster also doesn't go cock-a-doodle-doo, does it?
Well, what song doesn't make? I think your noise suppression might have cut off whatever noise you just made.
It was taken after a bloody battle. 3 days of hiding paid off when a platoon of paratroopers landed right in our kill zone. Planning and patience are guerrillas' best friends.
I was not in the Discord already. I don't know. Maybe you don't like me as much as people think.
The waterfall ran red that day.
It's no problem.
Imagine not being in MisterTrashcan's Discord.
Imagine not being in there. And you miss all the stream updates.
I get it.
Like, Mr. Trashcan has gone live. MisterTrashcan has gone live again because the stream died.
And you miss all his really late schedule that sometimes I think you forget about.
I usually post them on Tuesdays, so a day too late every time. But you can read about Star Trek stuff in there. That's pretty neat. I just see you falling. How do I get to that point? I'm too far away from that. Oh, no, it's this. I'm passing around. Ah, no! Between Go Raggle, Cassette Quest, but hey!
You're good now.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm good. I won't do it again.
Freaky, yeah, you're just like a joint. I'm passing you around.
Puff, puff, pass.
Did we go all the way up? No. Okay.
After the war, that path became a famous hiking trail for sweaty turistas.
Turistas.
Camp, litter shit everywhere, take photographs of us. So we might have accidentally lit a few dynamite.
That seemed dangerous.
Uh-huh. And the fact that one bullet can just set all that loose, even more dangerous.
Exactly. I love it.
Oh, you... yeah. Yeah.
Worth it.
Help! I'm injured.
I can't really get back to you, so... Help me!
You better not fall.
Oh, that would be horrible.
I've come to all your lips. Hold on.
Hold on what?
Oh, not you.
Now I know I have to do this as quick as possible, as far away from you, because I know you're just gonna shoot me down. Jesus.
Don't underestimate my weaponry. Oh, it's a goat.
What if animals just made the sound that their name was? Wouldn't that be great?
What animals are named after the sound?
Okay, I'm at the next picture. Let me guess. Guerrillas are like sharks? Deadly predators with knives as sharp as teeth?
Actually, that rock just looked like a shark.
Who's the one dangling underneath it?
That's Lucky Mama. We never knew when the Soldado would find our camp, so we had to secure fast ways up and even faster ways down. Lucky always volunteered to be the first to test the lines.
But which language would we pick for the animal to, like, speak? Or do they have different dialects based on the country that the animal is happens to be located in?
Probably.
Do Pokemon also have regional dialect?
But it's not our parents who define us. It's our
Like, do Pokemon have accents?
It's like therapy.
I mean, maybe.
Pokemon.
No, like, meow. So Egyptian cats are, in Egyptian cats are, meow.
Ow. Did you just snipe me? Ow.
We also have accents depending on which pods they're from.
El Tigre, I'm at the statue.
I can't put the phone away. I can't believe it.
A revolutionary, a warrior, and a dear friend. Killed
I missed. I shot through your arms.
Yesterday was the anniversary of his death.
That explains the hangover.
Every year I drink 2 bottles of rum. One for me and one for Lobo.
Oh.
You never lived to see a free Yara. To be honest, neither did I.
This is the last pick.
Felicidades!
Oh,
You're at the top of the world! Now get down here! You're missing
Did you just also enjoy your third-person transition?
yes. Shot through his arms and you were to blame. Yeah, that was entirely my fault.
El tigre.
El tigre. He's crazy. I love him.
What the hell?
This is the kind of man you would not mess with. You just look at him and you know.
What do you do? I've been kicked in the cojones 1,000 times. I haven't felt them since 72.
Never do that again.
What? Mi caso su casa, baby tigre. Come on, meet the family. Lucky, my nose is broke again.
I'm not your fucking mother.
These people way better than the other people.
Yeah.
You are actually hurt.
I am suffering. Ay, easy, mama.
Herpes doesn't count.
Meet Lorenzo Canseco, poet of the legends.
Well, I sense the hot blood of a fighter.
Lorenzo
And
Canseco.
of course, you know Lucky Mama, heart of the legends.
It's not broken.
Really? I felt it go crazy. Merda!
Another patient? Looks like La Moral to me.
I'm Danny Rojas from Libertad.
The new fist of the revolution.
No, Clara sent me. Libertad needs the legends on our side, heroes to believe in.
To fight another Castillo? He's exactly what Yara deserves. Buena suerte.
Sorry, one revolution was enough.
I almost want to play their game instead of this one.
Danny.
Yeah.
I just need to get to know you. Come see
I'm
me when
surprised
you
that wasn't
get
one of the
settled.
deals.
My baby tigre.
Yeah. It's crazy and loved it, then sane and hate it. When you're crazy and hate it, it's just sad. I agree. Let's
What are
think.
amenities at this camp?
Do we have cocks?
I'm gonna try and find out.
Remember the
Tigre
three
is the only one on
guerrilla
board with
principles.
Libertad.
Always be
Do
moving.
whatever you have to and
Always
get them to
young,
join
huh?
this fight.
Always
People
kill
need
your
heroes
enemy
to
before
believe in.
They've got dominoes.
Heroes.
You want to play dominoes? Can we play dominoes?
Yes.
Dominoes.
Okay.
All right. Let's see if I actually know how to score in dominoes.
I don't know how it works, so that'll be fun.
Oh no. Do we have to play against 2 other people also, or is it us?
Oh.
Oh no. There's other people.
I don't know how this game works.
It's time to figure it out.
Let's see what you can do.
Oh. Okay. That's a 4.
Oh, good. It highlights.
Oh, is it my turn?
This one.
Nope.
Oh, it's like connected, and then it's like, okay. So I suppose
Hi,
there's
Garrett.
strategy to it. What's the strategy? What do I do?
Oh my god, you slammed so aggressively. I don't know what the strategy is. I made a penis.
Oh, that's a long penis. I never played an
Wow,
actual game.
longer.
I think I've played this game before. Because we do have a domino set at home.
Watch this one.
I watched this one.
¿Te gustó?
Like,
Slam!
you know, yes, look at that, bitch. Bam!
And
Right.
Look at this!
Watch this one.
oh, and right there.
Oh, that was very dainty.
Try harder.
Slam.
Oh my god!
Okay.
She's so aggressive.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I guess the
Me either. I'm just picking the highlighted piece.
Deal with that.
I guess the aim is to just drop all your pieces?
So
Am I the first one who can't
I hope
place?
you're doing well, Karen.
I can place exactly one thing.
I got nothing.
I had to skip my turn.
I can place.
I think the goal is to just run out first.
This one. So it's like reverse Scrabble. No, wait.
Try harder.
Number Scrabble.
Number Scrabble.
How you like that?
How do you like them apples?
Nada.
She
Oh my
had nothing.
God,
to
am I
slam
about
aggressively.
to win this? Oh my God. No, I didn't.
No, she won.
Don't get cocky now.
But I didn't have to skip a single.
I won.
How did you
What?
win?
Hold on. No, it's just I lose. I had 15. Oh, your goal is to have the lowest number.
So you lost.
I had the highest number. Yeah.
So I'm the
worst.
second.
Oh, no, I didn't want to play again.
So it's like whatever is left. That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still don't really understand dominoes, but...
So I guess you just want to discard as many points as possible. And then whatever, it's fine.
Right, get rid of the biggest pieces that you can.
Let's just play cockfighting again.
I don't think there is cockfighting. It's only dominoes here.
The park was full of people using the internet.
Oh, yeah! I see we have the same idea. We're stuck. How does the wingsuit work?
Not the same as...
What button is your wingsuit?
I don't know. I have keyboard.
Yeah, what button is it?
Shift.
I don't have one. I don't have a wingsuit.
I don't know how.
Dead.
Just fall.
The term is sword fighting. No, it's cockfighting. We take our cocks and we battle them. And whichever one wins, wins.
Our cocks brush up against each other.
Yeah.
I hope we don't have to, like, run to that base the hard way many times. My partner has died.
Thanks for the clip. Big oof. Again, more ship fuel. Thanks for the clip. I appreciate it.
Such a long run. Ow. Oh!
Watch it.
It's so difficult to get revenge on you. It's impossible. Oh yeah, Twitch Mobile is horrible for clips.
Yes.
Oh yeah, go ahead and show off with your wingsuit. Your partner has died.
I died.
Good. I don't even know where I'm going.
The quest. Ow.
I'm still getting... Oh, attempting revenge.
Oh my god, a leopard!
Yeah!
Fuck that shit.
Yeah, I do not have a wingsuit. That's great. Oh.
Boom, boom. Over here.
Oh, fuck you. just
no
insult
wingsuit, no boom boom.
after insult after insult after insult after insult. Big cat, because it was trying to kill us.
It killed us. I just...
Welcome in, Chester. I had to think for a second.
You and
I thought,
Ali have been doing lovely.
because I thought that was Finn's bot, because Finn's bot is called Pigeon Chester,
That's
right?
right.
How's it going with those medical
I was like, what? How is that possible?
Working on it.
Don't Don't put off what you can do today.
Then just use the other account.
Yeah.
And by then it's too late.
Imagine Heinz
I'm gonna start
count
joining your
suddenly.
stream as my bot.
Yeah. Or imagine Heinz count just showing up.
Who has the high ground now?
A big cat territory and walked in its area. I don't know why it keeps... maybe nature should be respected. Oh my god.
Look, if I can't take my violent tendencies out in video game, we're just all in a bad place.
It's better to kill a leopard in a game than eat grapes at the supermarket without buying them.
Exactly. When I got arrested for theft, when I was a teenage Moth, we had to go to a class, and that's what they used as the example, is eating grapes. And I was like, is it really that bad that people eat grapes?
I mean, it is stealing.
Who's it hurting? Yeah, it is.
I mean, imagine going to a supermarket and just ripping open a bag of chips and eating that to see if they're good.
I've seen that too.
Who does that?
This is too.
Boy, you've never seen a Walmart.
I mean, I have worked at a supermarket. People are kind of fucked up. This one time, a person grabbed a fish from the freezer and put it in his pants so he could steal it.
This is property of Libertad. Ah, Libertad. Knew you would come begging for our help.
Who's
We
she?
should be fighting Castillo together. I'm Honron, second in command.
She's Honron.
Honron.
I can see my dog in the cutscene.
Ah!
Nice throw. Name's Danny Rojas. Uh-huh.
Company!
I give out free samples.
Batter up.
Bussin' cheap
Yeah, but then I
food.
have to have a membership.
I mean, since I have a small business license, I could technically apply for that sort of thing in Germany. We don't have Costco, but we have alternatives. But I don't know why I should buy things in bulk.
Cheaper?
Yeah, but I don't think, like...
You could buy that really expensive mayonnaise that you got in bulk.
Yeah, but... You know, mayonnaise goes bad after a few months. I can't buy bulk mayonnaise.
Not with that attitude.
It's like my father buying a crate of mustard sauce or deviled eggs. That goes bad within like
Just
a month.
for deviled egg?
Yes. I mean, not for deviled egg. Yeah, yeah, I think that's what he used it for. Just deviled eggs. Although German deviled eggs are different in that we don't put a dollop of mustard on it. We make like a mustard sauce. And it's like swimming in it. That's like the whole thing.
Oh. Huh.
It's inferior, in my opinion.
Because I really like our deviled egg.
Don't stop!
That would be weird to me.
Some deviled eggs recipes are dry. Yeah, German deviled eggs are just cut. Sometimes even the eggs are just cut up into cubes. And then it's like a very liquidy mustard-based sauce.
That almost just sounds like egg salad, but done wrong.
Maybe. I love that they do not get out of that car.
Nope. Makes it easier for me to shoot them, though.
Yeah. So like egg salad. I can show you a picture in a minute. I'd have to Google it. I mean, you could Google it yourself, but I'm a nice streamer, so I'm gonna Google for you in a minute.
Deutsch egg salad.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me put this cigarette out on my arm.
Oh shit, yeah!
Oh shit, yeah! And they're just called mustard eggs. They're not called deviled eggs, they're just called mustard eggs.
Have you ever had pickled eggs?
No. So chat, they're kind of like this.
Interesting.
Cover me, I'm reloading!
Hurt myself with my own explosive bullet.
Oh my god. Never mind, there's green stuff on the screen and it's getting cut out. Whatever, it's...
You've got talent, Libertad, but Yelena needs these supplies. We got wounded.
Yelena's your boss?
Yeah, she's gonna kick my
I do have
ass
some
if I don't
mustard,
come
maybe
back
I
to
should make that. I have mustard and 4 eggs.
Mind if I don't bring these to the legends?
Libertad wants the legends of 67? Half of Yara thinks are dead.
Oh, they're very alive.
And half of La Moral thinks they're full of shit. But I majored in history. They paid him
Kool-Aid powder. We don't have Kool-Aid
Tell
here.
you what, you give me these supplies, I'll introduce you.
Ah, coño. Yelena's gonna kill me.
And what would that
Sounds
just
like a war crime.
make it red?
First. Now, Danny, you get us a chopper. Then we can talk supplies.
Excuse me, did you just call me Danny?
Whatever.
Danny.
Danny. It's not my name.
Danny.
Danny Rojas.
Put some stank on it.
You need a chopper? Well, you won't get very high in the sky while that fucking anti-aircraft
You used to dye your hair with Kool-Aid and conditioner in the middle of high school, and that worked? You know, I would be concerned if the thing that you put in your mouth can also be used as a hair dye. Maybe
There
that's
are
why it's
organic
not.
hair dye.
Did you change your car to look like this?
I did.
This is great. I love it.
Get in, Perito!
For about a week, it's temporary. Is it the red 40 thing that's not allowed here?
Probably. That sounds like something Kool-Aid would. But Kool-Aid isn't just red. There's blue Kool-Aid, there's purple Kool-Aid, green Kool-Aid.
Because we don't have Kool-Aid here. Oh my god.
Again, you keep letting me drive.
No, it's fine. It's fun. Let's see. Kool-Aid products commonly use synthetic food dyes, but the exact coloring agents depend on the flavor. Typical examples include red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, blue 1. These are petroleum-derived artificial colorants widely used in the US, drinks, candies, and processed foods. No, it seems like they're all okay. I don't know. And I guess we just don't have the brand here. I mean, it is just powdered, like, lemonade stuff, right?
Pretty much. Just like a sugar powder with some flavoring in it.
Yeah.
Watch my back!
If they take more than one bullet, I will not engage with them.
Yeah, he took 2 bursts, and I was like, I'm over it. Whee! Uh-oh. Why'd you come after me?
I wanted to slide. Oh, but you were fine? Okay.
That's the right way. No. Everybody has their own recipe for how much sugar to put in their Kool-Aid.
Oh, so the sugar doesn't come with it? It's just the flavor?
No, you add your own sugar.
Huh. Oh, yeah!
Imagine a pitcher full of half full of sugar. It's like 4 or 5 cups of sugar.
That's a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
What's even the point of the flavor then?
To enhance the sugar.
Okay. There's artificial sweetener in this package so that the sugar tastes better.
Sniper on over.
I mean, I also used to eat weird shit as a kid. I don't know if other countries have that. Probably yes. It's like a a plastic tube with, I guess, sugary colored liquid in it, and you put it in the freezer, and once it's frozen, you take it out of the thing, and then you just, like, eat it. It's called water ice.
So,
I
like,
don't know.
a popsicle?
Yeah, but different. Wait, I'll look for a picture.
Can you blow up the other thing real quick where you look for a picture?
The other thing, yes.
Watch my back, I'm reloading!
I have to do with this thing.
What the hell?
What the hell? Picture has been sent.
Okay.
Look, chat. It's this sort of thing. Okay, half of it is being keyed out. Oh, yeah, it's like a liquid in a tube, and you put it in the freezer.
We have those here.
Make sure they're not underneath when I shoot it down.
I don't know if they had a name.
And
I know exactly what they are.
The brand that makes them is called Bussy.
Bussy.
Bussy. Yes, but with an I.
How do I down? Not letting me. Oh, I have to do it this.
Hold square. I was about to say.
Helicopter.
Helicopter. Where are we on the map, by the way? In the southwestern part. Yeah, I never got to this part when I played the game for the first time.
You didn't do all the El Tigre stuff?
No.
Just think of all the achievements that you'll get then.
I think I went on to Madrugada, so to the Espada people. I think that's what I did.
I thought you had to do that last.
You can do anything in any order. It doesn't matter.
I see you, Joron. Repinga. Every soldado en Yara can see you.
We did it.
Jolly gay time or something like that. I mean, originally gay just meant happy.
It also used to be in a lot of names. Gaylord.
Yeah.
And it still does mean happy. The meaning has not changed.
The context, however, has.
Yes.
Palapinga!
Let me guess, we don't get to keep the helicopter that we went and got?
You gotta sign my pants.
¿Cómo se llama, señorita?
Honron. I'm
Honron.
with La Moral.
La Moral. Terroristas.
Honron, this is Lorenzo. I know who he is. I think the word he's looking for is my dog.
You're not guerrillas. You're a street gang.
At least we're not hiding on the mountain while the world goes to shit.
Have you seen what's going on down there? Go, check out a Biovida facility. I dare you.
The legends don't take orders from anarchists. ¿Me entiende?
Enough, Lorenzo.
No, you know what? Fuck you. La Moral is keeping these supplies. This is our revolution, not yours.
A farmer got caught in the crossfire today. Took a bullet in the stomach. Without this, he won't make it to tomorrow.
Lucky mama.
A lot of the bullets I pull are from La Moral. There is a difference between playing with guns and fighting la revolution. El Tigre.
Sí.
I assume you can't see my dog.
They're big on lectures.
Yeah, I see him coming down the hill right now. He's just so excited.
Talk to me when you got a minute.
Now he's going back up. And down.
Dog! What the dog doing?
Hope you have good camera skills.
Get out of my way. Dog. Boom, boom.
Hashtag no filter. An alligator pet. Yes, guapo. That's the first companion you can get.
I'll tell Yelena you're on your way.
Oh, good. We can just get a helicopter.
Or a plane. Oh, that looks fun. Ooh.
Oh, this is an interesting...
Oh, yeah. You talked about chorizo. I couldn't get him. I wasn't allowed to. Because I'm not the owner of this session. I want to get my own plane.
Okay.
So you go and take off. I like that there are only 4 planes in this entire game.
Yeah. And they're almost all the same.
Don't get too far away, no! 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 Moth, please! Aww.
I can drop you back.
Don't worry, I'll just blow you up.
Oh, you got a gun. Oh, you can shoot my tail fin.
Pilot, you are flying in restricted airspace.
I wonder, can I shoot you? No, I can't. Oh. I'm out. I'm out of here.
I'm out.
Well, that went all right.
Yeah, we did
Why
good.
can't you shoot your own vehicle? I asked that same question, and many people yelled at me for asking that question.
I mean, that's just how planes were built back in the day.
Okay, okay.
Okay, okay. Oh, the horse. Oh, 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 oh.
Oh, no. Oh, it's... Fine, don't let me off.
He's special. Oh god, we gotta hunt this horse.
I think I got him.
No, he's running still.
Oh. Gotta go horse hunting.
Horse. Right in the butt. Okay, 9,000. Food.
Something tells me K9000 does not need food.
He does not need horse meat. Holy fuck. Holy fuck, we go down. I got that's just
Holy
a desert
shit.
over here. Holy shit. Some nice brutalist architecture. Love it, love it. Think.
I wonder if that place even has
Better watch my step.
Oh, why? Why am I watching my step? What's here? And I don't think I ever want to. I've never had horse meat either. I've never had exotic meats. Hell, I haven't even had normal meat in a long time. I eat leaves. Maybe that's why I'm so unhappy.
The lack of meat.
The horse! It came out. Oh, that's you, okay. I fully expected the horse to just seek revenge on me. An alligator and frog in Florida sounds about right. The bullfrog tastes it like dark.
I've had both of those things.
Chicken, huh?
Frog, I...
Oh, metal detector. So
Alligator.
Detect the metal.
Delicious.
What does it taste like?
Honestly, chicken.
Chicken gator.
It's got like a different texture. I don't think we need to be here.
Maybe we want to be here.
No, I just want to be anywhere that you are.
Oh, same. Invasive in a lot of places, so you can catch them without a license a lot of times.
Welcome in. Hello, Brandy. Brandy, yes, I said it right. My brain was correct. Hi, welcome.
Ew.
What's your favorite liquor, Brandy?
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Blop. Brandy and Mr. Whiskers. Mm-hmm. Does that ring a bell,
Brandy,
Brandy? Brandy and Mr. Whiskers. Was it Cartoon Network or Disney Channel? It was a show about a dog and a rabbit being stranded on an island.
What's up on the run?
There's some things you need to know about Yelena. She's mad smart. Computer science major, programmer. People think she's just a power nerd. But when
Our tires are about to go flat, unfortunately.
That's okay.
How did a programmer become a guerrilla?
Guess you didn't see the video. Before there was a La Moral, Admiral Benitez executed our classmates.
Binga. They got that on the window?
No. The next day, soldados
I don't know where that went.
It hit the watchtower thing.
Brandy, si, papa.
That shit was on video.
100 soldados?
Okay, maybe like 50.
Who's papa?
Coño, I gotta go. Just spotted a soldado near our stash with his pants down. Literally, he's pissing and he doesn't see me. I'll call you back.
MG21.
Combo.
Oh, I got an MG. And here I thought we'd... Oh, the horse ran into the sign and destroyed it.
That's okay. You were raised by 3 sisters, you know what? That's cool too. You're like, your forger from Spy Family.
Exactly.
Yes, a reference Trash would understand completely. Something about anime. I kind of want to equip that bow.
Nice, doggy.
Nailed it completely.
Hope you're here to help us clean up this fucking mess.
This is my chance. This is my chance.
For what?
I'm not gonna take it. I'm not gonna take my chance. I will walk away. It's just...
It wouldn't be us otherwise, right?
What was that?
You broke my car.
I did. It's flashing.
I guess we go on foot now.
It's blinking.
Be more careful!
It's right in your face.
What are you doing?
Oh my god! Just die! Let me have my revenge!
Unkillable.
Need some help!
Guide me. I'm gonna just go backwards the whole way.
Just follow the road, but in reverse.
Okay.
Your dog is down. Oh no.
Oh no, poor Boom Boom.
You're doing great.
Wait, you
hold
probably
on.
break those rocks right there.
How unnecessary.
Maybe it did something for us later.
Switch to my iPad, but it was also at 1%. Oh no.
So the truck goes really slow.
In reverse, yes.
And it's really loud.
Mm-hmm. I've never been in this part of the map before. This is cool.
Oh my god. Hello? Hi?
What is it?
Excuse me?
What's happening?
You were in my lap.
Oh, oh, hi. Hot. Am I still in it?
No.
Oh.
You're back on the roof of the car. hello? Hi? You're back?
I accidentally closed your stream. I must see.
Accidentally on purpose.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
It's... Oh my god! That's some action movie shit!
Oh, good. There's a grapple spot. We can just grapple right here.
Danny, where you at?
Getting close, I think.
Getting close.
Yelena's the big boss. I'm team captain, and you won't be able to miss Gilberto.
Why? Who's Gilberto?
Only the most fabulous spy in all of Yara. You can't even fart in El Este without Gilberto's network hearing about it.
Spies and hackers. La Moral sounds like the real deal.
When suddenly a man's ass is in your face. Excuse me, Donnie is a lady. Okay.
Yeah, Trash is Lady Donnie.
I'm Lady Donnie, the superior Donnie.
Call me when you get there.
Reloading!
One recruit dead.
I mean, hey, the cemetery's right over here.
We have to go all the way to the other side of the cape.
It's played by a guy. That's true. That is true. But that still doesn't make it a man ass if it's a lady ass in your face.
A mass?
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, is that why people call females lasses? Because they're lady asses?
Lady ass.
Hmm. Oh, I see. I like this area.
Yeah, I think this is my favorite of the areas so far. I like that it's not as dense.
Very...
I can kind of get around.
Are those... Oh, I was gonna say, are those all mangoes? No, they're coconuts.
Coconut?
Coconuts.
I'm cuckoo for coconut.
I've never eaten a coconut. I've, of course, had coconut liquids. But I've never eaten one. Oh. They're not coconut? I suppose they're not nuts. Just because they have nut in their name doesn't mean they have nut in them.
Reloading here.
Although they're full of white stuff.
Found a Ritter Sports coconut. It was delicious.
Oh!
It's my favorite one so far.
Coconut is great.
It is great. In candy form, raw coconut, terrible.
Like I said, I've never had it.
It is almost like chewing tree bark. The taste of coconut.
Oh. When you start to look at it scientifically, yeah, and many vegetables are also just fruits, like bell pepper, that's a fruit. Gourd is a fruit. Anything that has seeds in it is a fruit. And it's a berry, too.
Seeds surrounded by water or juice. Fruit.
So what would be
like
a...
tomato is fruit.
What would be a non-fruit thing that has seeds? Corn?
We don't talk about corn here, freaky. Corn bad.
Corn is a berry. Everything's a berry. Pumpkin, berry. Cucumber, that's a pumpkin. Therefore, it's a berry.
I'm at Concepcion.
Everything in one way or another is a sandwich, soup, or a salad.
Mm-hmm.
What are you sending me?
I don't think I've driven at all today, except that horrible, horrible car.
Oh yeah, you can drive everything else from here on then. I'm just gonna be the passenger princess.
Pumpkin is a gourd. Cucumber is a gourd. Gourd is a gourd.
I'm on. Radio, please.
Oh hey, this is the area from the benchmark.
We are supposed to go like right there.
Oh. This is the area from the benchmark.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Why is this the first time ever that the game is telling us where to go using a photo? I found it. It's right here.
It's done it a couple.
What are we doing here? I'm in the place, I guess. And I'm looking for... I found it. I found it. I found it. I found it. Knock, knock. It is all fucked up. Nothing's a vegetable. Everything's a fruit.
Muerto el perro, se acabó la rabia.
I can fit a whole jar of jelly beans up my ass. That's the code word.
I still don't understand what needs to be spoken in Spanish and what doesn't.
It depends on how dramatic it's supposed to sound.
Alfredo. Down the stairs.
You have to listen to him.
I don't.
Oh, never mind.
We got a workbench. Let's see. Great.
I need 6 volunteers.
Alright, I'll let you do it after this. I didn't realize it was going to cutscene us.
You're Yelena? Mierda.
Morales.
Yelena Morales.
Where's my medicine?
You mean Libertad's meds? I gave them to the legends.
No. You handed it to some retirees shitting their diapers on top of a mountain. What could you possibly want from them?
We need more than bullets and guerrillas to
I
take
can't
out
have hard-aged
Like it
cheese.
or not, Yaranos love the legends.
How old is hard-aged cheese?
Good luck getting those abuelos off their asses. We could use La Moral's
How
help.
hard is said
You know why
cheese?
Clara never told you about us? Because to her, we're just a bunch of kids playing with guns. She loves to talk about the future, but it's her future, not ours. Clara's just a Castillo who lost his dick.
So you have a better plan for Yara?
Bullets first, politics later.
You said you needed volunteers.
Admiral Benitez
Anything
got the jump on
over
us
a
couple
year?
hours ago.
So I like vintage cheddar, and that's always 12 months.
I'll go.
No Parmesan.
Consider us even for the meds.
Parmesan's great.
Then I'll think about it.
What if you eat Parmesan and just pop an antihistamine afterwards? Like cetirizine. Just Parmesan with cetirizine.
Now you can workshop it all up.
Hey, Moth.
Yeah?
I think this game is way too long.
It's so long.
I don't mind, but I feel like it's way too long.
Right, it just keeps going.
Slightly zoomed in short range sight. I kind of want that. I'm still somehow missing industrial circuits. We keep collecting stuff, and I somehow still don't have what I want.
Yeah, I've been missing quite a few. For some reason.
Ah. Deals poison damage over time. Could cause poisoned enemies to turn on each other. Glass tip rounds that impair weapon damage. Wait, is that good or bad? Deals blast damage in an area greatly affected against vehicles. Can break bulletproof windshields. Impairs weapon damage. That seems great. Oh no, wait, yeah, that's what that means. Okay. I see. So there's like one upgrade that makes weapon damage a tiny bit better. Against unarmored targets. All this is not great. Man, upgrading is so disappointing every time.
It doesn't add anything.
Some and Boursin? I don't know how to say that. I've never heard of that cheese before in my life. And that's been delicious. Brie is the chewy one, right? I'm not chewy, but the liquidy one, right?
Soft.
Soft. That's the word I was looking for. Chewy, liquidy. You mean soft? Yes. It's like taking a lactate and having ice cream. Yes, you were saying?
For real?
I wasn't saying anything.
But you made noises.
You saving our people, right?
That's the plan.
You did.
You misheard noises.
Who can fly you out to the ship? Follow me.
We've got to follow this man.
It's cream cheese filled with herbs and garlic. Whatever mixed into it. And you can spread it on crackers on bread.
I want this one.
Oh.
It has sunflowers.
Do I have to take... I have to take the ugly one.
The Timu horse. You said you wanted to drive. Now drive the horse.
Meh.
We've been fighting and we've been...
Ow.
But Admiral Benitez will always have more than we do. We kill one
Hey.
today. Tomorrow they get replaced with 3 more.
Yeah, we just call that cream cheese, even if it has herbs in it. If that's the same as cream cheese, but like whipped, I guess, so it's airier. I eat that every day with what's it called? Avocado. Avocado and garlic cream cheese. It's an amazing combination.
I heard a lot of them even support
Bologna and cream cheese.
You heard wrong.
Well,
Ow.
I don't see any abuelos fighting now.
I'm working on
I have to look up that cheese. Bursin.
How do these farmers get a helicopter?
They built it from the parts of ones we shot down.
Binga.
These
Yeah, that's what that is.
100% on our
Oh, that's just the brand name.
Some are.
I thought that was the cheese name.
You think we can get them on our side?
We're gonna need them.
Yeah, that's just cream cheese then.
Liberate El Este. Maybe when they hear Libertad is fighting with us, they'll join. Your good propaganda.
We have those too. I've forgotten their name. They come in little square packages. So you have like one packet and you put it on and you can spread it for one bread. I can't talk to this man. You have to do it.
This guy's broken. I can't talk to him either.
Maybe he was supposed to have a horse.
I mean, he got off of his horse.
Oh.
You're good now.
You hate the taste and the texture. Maybe you've only ever had a bad avocado, because a bad avocado is horrible. A good one is great, but a bad one is horrible.
What if we just kill him? Do we just fail?
No, he's just dead.
Nope.
Oh, we can continue. Great.
Oh, good. See? Sometimes murder does work.
Yeah. When in doubt, murder. I even holstered my gun. Make your own farmer's cheese sometimes, and it's like cream cheese. It's not hard. What's farmer's cheese?
Cheese made by a farmer.
Oh, okay, okay. What's dick cheese?
Cheese made by a dick.
Farmer's cheese.
Farmer's dick cheese is... Could you believe anybody would want to miss these conversations?
Farmer cheese. That just looks like cottage cheese, but like slightly different. Also, Mr. Moth, in like 20 years when I'm rewatching all the VODs to remember the good times, and we come to this point, I'm gonna be like, haha, I'm interested in this. Hi, future me.
I like this.
Are you going to save those people? Yelena called. Do you want to lift to that boat? No can do, mija. I'm the only one who can get this bird off the ground.
Oh my god.
He won't let us go until you get out.
I can't fly this. I'm not allowed to.
Yelena called. Do you want to lift to that boat?
Let's do this.
Hop in. Let's fly.
Why can't we? Why? Why can't we? I do hate when games take the agency out of the player's hand.
And 99% of the time it's just bugs.
My name's Calixto.
Calixto.
I'm going to be careful and stay low. I'll get you as close as I can.
But where did you learn how to fly?
I did my basic service as a pilot.
My gun barrel is too long. It goes through your head. I cannot shoot you.
Invincible.
I was kicked out of the ground.
Oh, well, that works.
Turns out drill sergeants don't like getting punched in the throat.
Good to know.
Ow!
I never seen you before. When did you join?
Please don't break his helicopter.
I have to do it. You know it.
I'm doing this rescue as a favor.
Ow.
I'm with Libertad.
Oh, we're going down.
What can you tell me about La Moral?
Now what?
Well, now I think, do it again.
And now the game crashes because it did not anticipate this at all.
Yeah, the Little Nightmares DLC at some point on.
Does it have a release date yet?
This was the estimated release date was this one. But I don't think they have an official one.
I mean, they now have to compete with Reanimal. Did you send me something? Oh, or was it today was the release of the suspected release date?
I think it was just sometime this month.
Oh, okay.
Hi.
Welcome back, Mikas.
Mikas!
Are you going to save those people?
Hey!
Yelena called. Do you want to lift to that boat?
Let's do this.
Get in.
Come on, you can have your airplane, whatever this is. Your air helicopter. Your aircopter. Did we get cool new guns? We got an M21. Whatever that is.
I have, what is this gun?
It doesn't let me shoot.
I like the one that I have. Like the RMS 18 shotgun.
I can't shoot, I'm not allowed to. I can't get my guns out.
I was kicked out of the ground.
That's a shame.
Oh, yeah.
I can hear your body clunk against the side.
Wait.
So this is my life now, huh?
I'm doing this rescue as a favor.
Ow.
I'm with Libertad.
Ow.
What can you tell me about La Moral? Tito, that's the real name?
Bye.
Just skip to the part where you get hurt. Take that boat. Meet us out there.
Boat. Oh my god, it's the boat that you killed. That you destroyed at the beginning of the game. Why I wanted to escape to Miami. To see the Golden Girls. I'm getting too far away. No.
You're going too far away from my partner.
Let me on. Let me on. Let me on it. No. No. I want to be on it.
I'm actually getting hurt, I think.
How do you feel about two people riding you? Oh. We're not getting too far apart. Sounds like it. Donnie just randomly said sounds like it. I can see you.
I don't have an actual sniper anymore. I saw you try and shoot at me. I saw the bullet.
Seems like they run a tight operation.
I like that I respond to whatever he's saying, but I can't hear him. The dog you live with has a horrible thunderstorm anxiety, and we're cuddling right now. Oh, I know that's not great for the dog. That's awesome.
Can I have your thunderstorm?
Stop coming.
Oh.
Just the sound of you hitting the side of the helicopter.
This is great.
This is great.
Yes, mi amigo.
Ah, I can't aim up that high. Blech. What kind of dog are you living with? Oh, explosions. Did you shoot that at me?
No.
I'm glad nobody can see that helicopter. It's just like in Star Trek where they say, we're masking our biosigns.
Ow! I'm being attacked by a shark!
Serves you right. Oh, it's a German Shepherd. Ooh! Cuddly Woodley. You know what German Shepherds are called in German?
Shepherds.
Shepherd dog. Ow. Are you shooting me?
They've already noticed this.
Well, it wasn't my fault. It just dog.
Maybe it was a shark.
One alarm remaining. Your partner disabled 1/2 alarm, or 1 out of 2. Oops. Oh.
Imagine if we died here and we had that whole conversation again.
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine dying in that helicopter. Okay, I disabled the alarm just in time. But they haven't detected me yet. Man, I can't wait for Directive 8020.
Oh, next week.
I'm just reminded of it because we're on
Wednesday.
Wednesday. The day of wet knees.
Yeah.
How do you have a helicopter?
They had one on the ship.
Oh. And then I can also play Forza in a few days.
Me too, but not as quick as you can.
Yeah, you're gonna have to wait 5 more days.
What if I just pay for it?
Then... Ah!
Sorry, I didn't actually try and hit you there.
Yeah, of course.
You're okay.
Gracias.
He posted pictures? Oh, hell yeah, I gotta see pictures of the dog. Can I pet that dog? Can I see that dog?
What a dog doing?
What a dog doing? Oh, look at the puppies. Look at the puppies. Dogs are great. Cats are also great.
But not as great as dog.
Since I've never had a dog, I can't relate. I freed the hostages.
Yelena,
I suppose I'm not allowed to kill them this time.
I freed as many as I
Probably
could.
not. It will probably make us restart.
Gracias.
This is Admiral Benitez.
No, it's fine.
To the fake Yaran
Oh, okay.
terroristas, I have you right where I want you. At this very minute, military forces are heading to your position.
Are they? I have a helicopter.
Your weapons and taking one last look at a nation that does not want you.
God, everything's exploding.
Peacefully serving Yara as outcasts, you will die. Right here. Right now.
I don't think we will. With all due
either.
respect, this is our boat now.
Friendly.
It hit the crane? That's okay. It's just a mix. He's oranger. I suppose German Shepherds are usually dog meat colored.
Yes.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I hit one. Ow. How
Oh, there you go.
I think I got that one too.
Lead our helicopter.
Oh yeah. Well, that airplane's going down. U-G-O-I-N-G-D-O-W-N.
Hi, Eltor.
Elator. Elator.
Ow. I'm being attacked by sharks again.
Did I hit it? No, I didn't. Miss. Did I hit it? Did I hit it? Ah, I did! I only need to hit them once and then they go down immediately. Was that all airplanes? I think that was all airplanes. Polarians?
I thought I saw just one more, but out.
Where are those boats, Yelena?
They're waiting for you to clear the air.
Can somebody tell those planes to hold still?
Oh, more
There's
planes.
still 2 planes.
Oh my god, what the fuck? Something was very loud.
Ow.
I'm pretty safe up here somehow. Oh my god, it's a Canadian ship. Is that supposed to be like that?
What makes it Canadian?
The Canadian flag.
Oh, the Canadian flag, yeah? Seems pretty far away from home.
Burn, I'm no longer safe. My people. I have died.
Help! I'm injured.
I'm making noises still.
I'm trying to take the gun. There you go.
I died.
My partner has died.
You shoot!
Oh,
oh, I'm in
you
my
just
own
got
boat.
a whole new boat.
What's your problem?
Are you doing? Your boat's upside down on my screen.
Oh no, I'm perfectly fine.
Oh, mine's broken. Like it's actually, I can't move anymore. It's broken.
Don't worry, you'll get far enough away that you'll have to show up again.
You're going too far away from your partner. Get back.
I hope. What if it put me in your boat?
Put me in a new boat.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
We gotta take out this.
What are we even doing in this game anymore? Like,
I don't know, man.
Tornado on the beach!
we did it.
We did it.
If you ever want good maple syrup from Canada, it's going to be from a can, a trash can.
It's done. Your people are
'Cause
safe.
that's my name.
I heard.
And only the
Even for the
can.
supplies?
Fuck yeah.
Need me for anything else?
I have to talk to Gilberto first. You'll be hearing from me.
You got my number.
Gracias. You're not so bad, Annie.
Every time I fell off the car somehow.
If you weren't on Admiral Benitez's radar already, you are now. Welcome to the real LSD.
Every time I see bagged milk at the supermarket, I think, hey, that's how they do it in Canada, right?
Thank God we don't have bagged milk.
I think you're supposed to put it in a pitcher and then pour it from the pitcher from the bag. I think that's the point of that.
Yeah, but then you're just dirtying a dish and making it more complicated.
Oh, only the French part of Canada?
Why didn't
It's
you send me
less
to them
friendly.
Last I heard, they were a small group always on the edge of falling apart.
I mean, that's where XQC comes from, right? So that checks out.
And I don't want Libertad's name to be dragged down with him.
I'll keep my eyes open.
It's just the holder of the bag. Like you put the bag in the pitcher and then you pour it that way. Like you don't put the milk from the bag in the pitcher. You put the bag in the pitcher.
Same, because that's the only place I've ever seen bagged milk.
Is in school or lunchrooms. It's not common here either, but there's one brand that sells bagged milk.
Does Germany do like milk deliveries? Do you have a milkman?
Milkman? We sadly do not have a Mikasman. I mean, not anymore. Does that still exist in the US?
No, it doesn't. I was just curious on... I know, like, the UK still does milkman.
Yeah, no, we don't have that anymore.
Some places in the UK. You're just, like, in the hood of the car.
I am.
Yes, but in, not just on.
Yeah. Oh. We also do this in Fortnite, by the way. We do not naturally get in cars. We just stand on them.
Yep. That's a river. I saw it. I don't think I can cross the river.
They didn't know we're theirs. Because they have sex with all the housewives. Yes, I descend from a long line of proud milkmen. More common than you think.
My father was a milkman. His father was a milkman. Well, the milkman.
Ah, I see. That's why it's so difficult to tell your race.
I wonder if your other quote finally works. Fuck oboes.
Yeah, just type exclamation point quote and then oboe. I don't know if it's number 112 or 114. This place is very beautiful, but just looking at it, it looks way too warm for me.
Oh yeah, I bet it's warm and humid.
Yeah, warm, humid.
You would hate it.
I would.
I think it's O-B-O-E. Oboe.
Oh, no, it was right, but it found the hobos one first.
Yeah, yeah.
If you type O-B-O-E... Yeah, look at that. Oh, it's 111. Somehow it's 111. Why is that not allowed? What did you say? Oh. You tried. But it still recognized it as bad.
Honron, I'm at some huge hotel on a mountain. Looks fancy.
Gran Hotel Caballero. Since 1740, that place has
That's
been
why
a
doctors invented vibrators.
hotel, then back to being a
I wonder what 112 was. Probably something bad.
This place isn't taking
Yeah.
reservations.
When Castillo's there, it's
I'd have to check one of my 120 City Skylines VODs to find it out.
my jokes have no vacancy.
I think you'd be able to find
I'm
it.
hanging up now. Hola.
Just download all your videos, get the transcript, and search the word oboe or hobo, and it has to be around there, right?
You're absolutely right. Oh my god.
What can I do?
Love the flip you just made.
Thanks.
She's the president of the Farmers Collective there.
I'm on it.
She just told Libertad that her farmers are about to break
My car's on fire.
these people on our side.
I slid into it. I'm under the world.
Yeah, I see that.
I think I made it explode by kneeing into it.
Your knee caused a lot of...
She just told Libertad that her farmers are about to break our agreement. We really need these people on our side, Danny.
Here she is. And you can't even see the
I'm
bullet.
my body than
It's
mail.
your,
appreciate it.
It's your Miami boat again.
Yeah, there's a song. What's it called? From the 60s, where they sing about housewives taking drugs. What's it called?
Uh-oh.
It's so different today. I hear every mother say, Doctor, please, some more of these outside the door. She took 4 more. I fell in the water. I broke my car.
Okay, don't join me in mine.
all the nerve endings in the clitoris. When the penises have been mapped out in the 80s, I believe. Well, maybe...
I'm gonna be the guy. I think this is an unnecessary conversation.
Okay.
Sorry to be the prude.
The prude. Oh no, you're too far away from me.
Okay, I'll catch up.
No, I'll just teleport. I see the trail of destruction you left behind, though.
Oh, never mind. There's a block of land in my way.
Used to bring us food and supplies. Lorenzo used
Aw, I shot the wrong person. They're throwing grenades at me.
crazy hair colors. We loved her visits.
Yeah, you're so far away.
I got a car.
And said she'd be leaving Yara. That was the last time we saw Gabriela. My neighbor thought he saw her at that Biovita place.
Tattoos and colorful hair.
Alright, I'm coming.
Keep an eye out.
Gracias. I'm worried something terrible has happened.
He's on his way.
You're under me? How's that possible? Oh, you're under the bridge. Okay.
Typical. Oh.
I'm right here.
Yeah, radio, please.
Shit. Savannah?
But he's supposed to be. Oh.
Savannah? Blech. I thought it would blow up.
Nope, it's one of those unbreakable ones.
Investigate the facility. So, oh, taking photos. Okay, this late into the game. Okay, great. Why?
Cool.
I don't care about this at all. How do I? Okay, I'll just take pictures.
Eyes up, Danny.
I don't know why is this a thing.
Should disable the alarm.
Oh, yes.
Confused.
No backup today, come mierdas.
How's your compound bow? Is it just as good as in Far Cry 5?
It feels just as good, yeah.
Reloading!
I can actually pick up arrows off of dead people.
How?
Like in 5. It wouldn't let you. How do I do it? A little bit of pressure.
Because you wouldn't expect everybody to have arrows in them.
Well, I think I pull the arrow that I shot at them back out of them.
That makes a lot of sense.
That guy went. Oof.
Take out your phone and aim it at the target. At the pile of dead people? Gotcha. Cool.
I need more beat.
I think
I just threw a flare. There's so many angry people over here.
Oh.
Oh, they called it an airstrike in.
Oh.
There, I disabled the other alarm. The alarm.
I just see your body flop to the ground. Oh my god, that guy's running fast.
That's his fuckboy.
I swear, if gunplay was this easy in Metro, I wouldn't have had problems in that one area.
Would you say that the gunplay in Metro is bad?
I'm not saying it's bad, but when I aim for the head and then I pull the trigger and the bullet whizzes past the head, I get angry. The Pavel fight? No! The
one where he was
depot,
sneaking.
The depot thing, yeah.
I say sneaking like you haven't been trying to sneak through the whole game.
Yeah, the train depot. Then again, I suppose the problem was them killing me instantly and not me not hitting them. Needlessly hard, yeah.
I need more beef.
Those look like cages. But for what?
Like, why wouldn't we just raid this base and shut it down? Why are we taking like random secret photos?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are we proving? Are we going to the police with this?
We know they're bad.
We haven't needed evidence before. Why suddenly now?
We have to justify our crime.
One more photo should do it. Or like get a drone or something.
Yeah, well, I don't know. They probably have like anti-drone. Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt there.
This should be enough to convince Lorenzo.
Now we have to go all the way back to that camp.
I'm making fast travel, right?
I think so.
El Tigre, I've got the
Or
base.
I could drive you.
You won't believe what they're doing to our people. It's
Yeah, you
horrific.
can drive me. I trust you behind the wheel.
And what about Gabriella?
I don't know what to tell you. She's gone.
Trouble is, I don't know where to go.
Oh, hold on. It's the quest marker.
I don't see it.
I just marked it anyway.
Oh, it's all the way over there. Okay, I'm probably on the right track.
Jesus.
Ah, the boy hounds. Oh, yeah, you now are also in in the hood. In the engine compartment.
Roll in there.
Yeah. It's like you're kneeling into it.
Is it so foggy?
He is the engine.
How many moth power does this bad boy got?
Oh, well, at least one. Mongoose hunting spot. Let's go.
Think of all the mongoose we can hunt.
The mongoose. Yeah, you're gone. You're just in the engine now. Was an evil dog. Jesus Christ.
And just like the turret, just, you know.
Where the fuck are we now? That's not where I'm supposed to be.
We're at a treasure hunting spot.
Do you want treasure?
Not really.
Passing the torch.
Looks like I should track these power lines to their source.
Looks
fast travel is currently not available.
Power lines to the source? Okay.
All Dogs Go to Heaven. Great movie with Charlie B. Barkin.
Charlie B. Barkin, really?
That's the name of the main dog.
Okay. I found the solution.
Force. Turn on more power, or
no, it's here. Or
it says we have to find 3 switches.
Let's leave.
I can't.
It's a D&D name. Ow.
Hello? Did you try and throw that at me, or?
Yes. How do I set myself on fire? I throw it so far away. Meow.
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 Look at him. He's such a good runner.
This looks kind of awesome. The tree hugging the other tree. There are no snakes in this. There might be snakes. There were in Far Cry 5.
I don't think there are in the...
In general, there aren't that many animals. Any animals.
Only at the hunting spots, and really, there's no reason to hunt in this game.
Yeah. But I guess if you want to sell the meat, but what's the point?
Oh, I have to go all the way back up this thing. Uh-oh.
Oh, I did the same.
Merda.
Mine's worse. I fell farther down. Aww.
Oh, we're right back here.
This would be filled with animals and bugs in real life, definitely. And none too nice either. Too close to leaf cutter ants? Oh no.
I've been watching a biologist at ant farms and stuff like that. It's really cool, and I like it. He does a lot of random bug stuff.
Let me guess, his favorite movie is A Bug's Life. Ah!
It's actually ants. Just kidding, I don't know what it is.
I zipped the wrong direction.
Yeah, I saw.
Like, the thing is, I can shoot you as many times as I want because of that stupid heal grenade. I can't exert revenge.
I'm invincible.
To me, at least. Did the same thing again. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. And then you fall down.
Ooh.
What is a marmoset?
Rodent?
Rodent? I have no idea. I've seen the word everywhere.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm also, like, invincible to fall damage. Man, there's got to be a better way to go. I don't want to climb this again.
It's a monkey, a tiny monkey. Okay.
Yeah, I was incorrect. There's 49 random tips that you need. Imagine reading all. Oh, made it back.
Yeah, I do need all those tips, otherwise I won't be able to play this game at all.
You need to freshen up that gear.
Hey, comadre.
I only know the word marmoset because that's the name of a 3D viewing website. It's called the Marmoset Viewer. I don't know why it's called that.
So what do you think it means?
Oh, it's because it switched to the treasure. I was like, it told us to come up here. I don't want to go back down.
I'm the dollhead. And your sister.
Oh, hell yeah, that person playing the flute.
I swear to God, if the next mission is go back and destroy everything.
They're bad people. Now you have to go kill them all.
We were just kids, El Tigre.
Lorenzo, I took pictures of that place Honron was talking about. You swipe to the left.
They look free to you.
Mierda.
This is why Libertad and La Moral are fighting. You can hate
When did I
us,
have time to charge my phone?
No one deserves this, Lorenzo.
This is happening
One
all
of those
over
battery-
Lara. You just can't see
Space
it from so
age.
high up this mountain.
I can't look at this anymore. I didn't vote for Castillo. The war is over.
So that was a waste.
Está bien.
My Alavengen.
Shoot the tree.
Hello, Alavention.
How are we doing? We're doing okay. How are you doing? Rockin' and rollin' in Blender Town. What you blendin'? What do you be blendin'?
Blendin' Blandin'?
Exactly.
Shit is getting real. We need to rally our people and talk next steps.
A mermaid? Cute Mama said video in Discord. Oh, hell yeah. I'm gonna look at that later.
Are you drunk?
So good news, we have to go back down. Very far away.
Oh, Lord. I mean, we have planes. Maybe this time.
Yeah, we can at least take a plane.
Maybe this time even two.
I mean, ooh. I'll try not to take off until you actually get your plane.
Or maybe I'll just get mine first.
Good thinking.
Get on your iPad more and do stuff like... Oh! It's just called Mermaid. I thought you would just misspelled Mermaid. Why is it called Mermaid?
Okay, I would have made the same assumption.
What's Mermaid then?
Where are the planes? Where do I pick up a plane?
It's where I am.
You want your friends to fight, but there's a lot of young guerrillas in
Oh
El
no,
Este
you already
who
have a
don't
plane.
need
Okay, hold on. You gotta wait.
They are kids with guns who don't care if they hurt innocent people.
They are rough around the edges.
I'm circling so I don't go too far away.
Castillo, Benitez, and McKay.
Oh Lord.
And when I think,
Almost done. Almost got plane.
those kids
The month of May, there's a daily prompt to make art for it. Nice. But
There's a
Whoa,
password and
that was close.
I need a new
here we
plane. I need a
go.
new plane. I need a new plane. This one's not good anymore.
All right, I'm going towards the mission. Hopefully you can keep
You're
up.
kidding me. No, you come the fuck back. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Can't believable.
Sorry.
Why is it called Mermaid? You tried? Yes. What did you try? To get away from me as fast as possible?
No, I was trying to turn around.
I had already been teleported. Well, go fly to your target then. Tone to hire Trashy as my tail gunner. Exactly. Some non-traditional mermaids with some crazy fish I like. Fish are great.
Alright, there you go. I'm close to the... You can jump out. Get a plane.
Oh, you flew back. Oh, Moth.
Flying mouse and keyboard, though, is not preferable.
Okay, let's see. I just need to find the thing. Okay. Wait, hold on. Okay. I marked it for me. Okay. He's hoping you don't crash. Like I did.
I'm trying not to.
Too far away from my partner? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Okay, I'm going back to you.
Okay.
You gotta be quick about this, though. I can only do circles so well.
Alright, you can go. Giant squid like fossil thing. Oh, I think I heard about that. Okay, where are you, buddy? Ah, there you are. I see ya.
Mission.
I'll just follow you, okay?
Hey. Phew.
Oh no.
I'm glad we went through all that effort.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, how'd you get teleported? Did you die?
No, I guess I went too far from you. It's fine. We can do this. It's fine.
use my wingsuit.
I'm so jealous you have that and I don't.
I also have Boom Boom and Chorizo. Ow!
This is my chance.
Ow.
You can't heal yourself this way.
Ow!
I'm surprised I'm hitting these. I love how new science works. Science is great. It keeps putting me near you if you get too far away. That's great. Oh, now I can't get my guns out. Shit.
Back to being invincible.
And then I died. I got caught on the tree. Oh,
today's just not your day.
It's not really. Oh my god.
I saw you pick out the big gun. I knew you were about to shoot me.
I mean, as we know, this does nothing. I can shoot you in the face with an explosive. It does not kill you. Even if it does, you will just revive yourself.
That's true.
From millions of years ago. Antarctica has lots of things like that because of the ice. Like, I remember seeing a documentary.
Melting that trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, let's melt all that ice. We need more water. Yeah, scientists create like these boreholes, and the ice in them has different layers that represent the different years. Oh, that didn't come out. Huh.
Anticlimactic.
Makes you wonder why they would even put that there, since this is near a lake and near a river, not a road.
Not a cave. Coño.
Coño. I'm stealing their medicine and gasoline, okay?
It's okay. I'm also getting it from you stealing.
What do we even do with gasoline? Like, what's that used for?
What do we do with any of this?
We have a flashlight?
Yeah, I think it's only automatic, though.
Fascinating.
The missus is cooking, and I can smell food, and it smells good.
What is she cooking?
I have no idea.
This land is for science. Because there's no oil there.
Watch my back, I'm reloading!
Oh my god, look, it's your favorite.
Yep,
a mannequin
village.
Oh, and they all collapsed. Oh my god. Oh my god. Jesus.
Feels good.
Oh, we got pesos. Oh, look at this one.
Which one?
Where I am. Mannequin gangbang. Destroyed. Those poor
bang
villagers.
bang.
Bang bang. Boom 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 boom. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
Oh, look, it's cocoa.
Cocoa?
Cocoa beans. Yeah, that's what's growing on these trees. There's so much chocolate to be had here.
Minecraft for men who like war. I always compare 7 Days to Die to Minecraft. It's okay to abuse them. As long as they're puppets, it's alright. Oh my god, it's a monkey man!
Oh my god, it is.
Yeah, just throw me to the crocodiles. Crocodiles.
The crocodile. One damaged animal meat.
American crocodile, it says. Don't destroy the ancient artifact. I wish I could.
Poor Miss man.
You mean Professor Frank?
Yeah. That's his name.
Does he have a first name, I wonder?
Got it.
Is it?
I'm sure even comic book guy has a name.
Yes, his name is Albert something something. He says it in the show, like season 10 or something.
What about Otto? Otto smokes some weed. That's...
I think his name is Otto Man, actually.
Perfect. It's a beautiful name.
Well, what's Professor Frank's name? I need to look this up.
Another wonderful day in the vault.
Professor Frank name. Ouchie. John John IQ Nerdlebaum Frank.
Nerdle.
Ottoman like the chair. Yeah, kind of. Like Otto and his last name's Man.
Oh, what happened to you?
I fell. Like the tower.
Oh no. The gasoline? Did it melt the rebar?
Yeah. Would be such a bad name. Let's go imagine the bullying.
I mean, Professor Frank gets bullied regardless if they know his name or not.
Are you the Colonel? Should I call you Colonel? Freaky Kiki? Just so you can relive your high school days? I'll just call you Colonel.
I knew the great nephew of the Colonel.
In real life?
Yes.
Huh, so you know royalty.
I worked with him.
Okay, so what are the 12 spices?
I have no idea. I would love to tell you. But if I did, somebody would come through my window and I would no longer be with us.
I mean, I can't imagine that it's a secret because they have to print the ingredients on the back, don't they?
Yeah, but which one are the 12 important?
I don't know, just test it. I can pet the horse. They leaked the spices on TikTok. She's licking my robo hand. Wait, hold on. She? Yes, she.
They? Does it have balls the size of the bull?
Oh, I got 2 for 1. Let's go. So it's LFC.
LFG looking for group? Can't jump in there. Get over there. How did it? MisterTrashcan, you did it.
I did it.
Like... Oh, there you go. I found the way.
Because I'm a ninja.
Oh, but now we don't want to be in here for some reason?
Got cutscened.
Oh.
I can do that too, you know.
What's happening?
The one thing I can do.
Some of our friends want to quit early.
Okay, listen up. This isn't worth killing for. Sure as hell isn't worth dying for. We're young. We should be out there drinking and fucking and skipping school. Woo! Our parents and grandparents already stole.
Yeah, skipping school.
Why should we give a shit? That's what I used to think. And then one day...
Don't dye your hair blue. I didn't think of it. No, didn't think about it.
She called on your name, you came to the front. One by one. Alvarez. Bermudez. Carrillo. The Admiral read their crimes.
Ma'am,
Protesting,
that's not good gun safety. Please do not just fire a random bullet.
Fernandez, Jimenez, Peña. I learned a lesson.
I hope you have no more names.
Yeah, she's out of bullets anyway.
Be on the right side of history or the wrong side of Castillo's guns.
With no E-protection.
Wise words, young guerrilla. La Moral taking new members?
Depends.
What? Is there an age limit? I will plead for La Moral.
Why?
Again, why always the palm? That's the one spot that doesn't heal very quickly.
Viejo.
Ew.
And it hurt.
That's a dedicated man.
So how do we take out the Admiral?
Push-ups are the first step to...
The Grand Hotel.
That it, Geeky, you're absolutely right.
I got a combo.
Don't cut your hands, you're gonna get sick.
No. We need Carlito. Push-ups never lie.
It'll hurt to have meaning. I mean, I can also drive my car into a tree. Does that have also meaning? That also hurts.
There's many other ways. How about we call...
I was gonna say, because this seems like a good,
next week.
good area attendant.
You sure doing push-ups was such a good idea?
What can I say? Your little speech pumped me up.
Oh yeah, VOD people. Thanks for...
VOD people, you should be here instead.
Yeah, be here instead. I mean, they can't really be here because none of the episodes have gone live yet, so...
Oh,
honestly, still be here. Why aren't you here? You should know this by now. Bye.